G'day guys, how's it going? Bit of a different one today. I thought I'd get out from behind the camera and do a bit of a vlog style video. Had an idea that some of you might be interested in how I sort of do things from an amateur racer's perspective, and so I thought I might put together a couple of videos in a series of how I do it. Starting off today with race prep and getting a bike ready to ride. If you're a fan, throw a comment down below and let me know that you like the format. It's going to be a bit of a longer one. If you don't like it, also let me know, but I think I'll make a couple of these regardless. So yeah, let's get into it. If there is one thing you take away from this video, it is that it starts here. The day you finish your ride is when you start race prepping for the next one. A lot of people won't enjoy washing bikes. A lot of people put them away and think that, oh, it's not too bad. But I strongly recommend that everyone gets a wash routine of some sort. It's just so critical to finding bits and pieces that need attention, bits and pieces that have, you know, vibrated loose, rattled loose, or, you know, just worn down, things that need replacing for your next ride. So if you're thinking of race prepping, it starts when you get home from your previous ride. So I've just done my general wash with the pressure washer. She was pretty filthy, and this is sort of where I start from in terms of giving it more of a detail. And to do that, I've just got a few tools. I've already taken the bash plate off. Make sure you take that off because that is like a big ladle full of mud, and you ended up getting it all under the case. So take off your bash plate if you want to really give it a good clean. Who knows, you might do an oil change next, and when you pull it off you got dirt falling all in your face. It's just no good, so take that off. Bit of general core drive wash for the foam cannon. Foam cannon, not essential. Can do it with a bucket of soapy water, but my goodness, that makes it so much easier, as does a pressure washer. You know, there's people that will say you can do it with a hose, but I disagree entirely. Sue me. But the pressure washer makes it so much easier. It's not really the pressure of the gun itself, it's more just like the angle and the sort of blade of water, the jet of water that it puts out. It kind of just cuts through under all the mud and flicks it all off way better than hose, water, and a standard gun. So definitely, if you can, get yourself a pressure washer. It's starting to rain. This is what you got to do. Get yourself a pressure washer because it'll make it so much easier. And when you do, you can use things like foam cannons. Other than that, I've got just a couple of brushes. I use a standard spray bottle and the brushes to do most of the detail, and a bigger brush just to get sort of the chassis, the wheels and that sort of stuff. So I've got a bit of a system. I actually start at the rear wheel and the drivetrain with, this is degreaser in a bottle, spray bottle, same sort of thing again. And I will degrease and clean the chain. You can see it's gotten rid of all of that, you know, grime and grease that comes on the sprockets. Most people have just, you know, a ring of black grease around there. Chain is in good nick too. All you need to do after that is apply a bit of lubricant to it, and she'll be right to go for the next ride. Hopefully the audio is not too bad, because it's actually starting to come down rain and windy. But it's what you got to do. I mean, these bikes are worth upwards of, you know, $10,000. Can be if you buy them new. I don't buy them new, but you know, 10 to 15 grand for a bike. So if you're going to let it go away and rust in the shed between rides, then that's up to you. But I've put too much money in that I don't have to this machine, that I want to keep it as new as possible and as good as possible. So this is just my routine. Do what you like. Thought this might be some tips that could, you know, be used. So we'll see how we go. Just done my sort of first soap up of it. From here, I'm going to get in here with the brush and the spray bottle and go for a bit of a detail. I usually start at the top you know, go around all the controls and sensitive electronics. This is where this little brush is real good for just getting in amongst it. And then yeah, work your way down here to the engine, picking out all the crap and, you know, dirt that's lodged in the spaces that the pressure washer won't get into, just cleaning it all out. You know, it's still kind of filthy all through there, particularly up the front where you get the roost from the tyres. But so that's what I'll do next. Now you might think you're taking the piss, you don't do this. I guarantee you I legitimately do this every time I ride a bike. It's a bit of a deal I have with myself, that if I was going to buy a new bike like this, I was going to look after it. So I do this every time, and it actually doesn't take long. It's not hard, and yeah, I recommend everyone gets into it or has a go. And I kid you not as well, doing this method, I've actually found a number of things before. Frame bolts, you wouldn't think these would go, but I've had them come loose. Hence you can see now I've got paint markers on each of them. Actually, I've got paint markers on a lot of my bolts, which has to be redone every now and then. It wears off eventually, I don't know if you can see, but I've got marks on most of the critical ones. Stuff, you know, you don't want this coming loose during a race, so that's probably another tip that I've got. You know, grab yourself a paint pen. It's what, 10 bucks at an auto store. Grab one. Keeps your eye out for what's going loose. And when you're washing a bike like this, it's so easy to see, alright, that's off kilter. I'll give that a nip up before I race next time. And that's the sort of stuff that doesn't get you caught out on the track in your following race because you saw it when you're cleaning up the one before. So, case in point, I've found plenty of stuff like that before which needs attention, only because I'm in there with the brush, having to clean and finding out what's going on with the bike. So yeah, just to reiterate, you know, while I'm down here, I'm currently giving this wheel a lick over. I'm looking at the pads. Check your pads, check if they got meat on them while you're cleaning them. It's just, you know, you're in the area, so you may as well have a look. And that's why I think this method is pretty foolproof, because you have to go over everything with, you know, the brush and the soap, cleaning everything up. And while you're there, you're looking at, you know, oh, my pads need replacing, or oh, my sprockets are getting a bit worn out, or oh, the chains, you know, it's not moving free. You know, all that sort of stuff. You just find it out as you go, and yeah, it's easy and doesn't take long. Once I've washed, I'll go around with compressed air and just hit everything that could puddle water, anything that might pool and stuff I don't want water on. Like, I'll blow out all the controls, I'll blow out, you know, the starter switches and bits and pieces and around the display, just because I don't want water sitting in there until my next ride. It'll evaporate eventually, but it'll take a minute, particularly in Tassie when it's cold in winter. So yeah, I just blow all that out and then lube everything up. Just going to go around here everything with WD-40, well, not everything, but all the moving parts, controls, chain, bits and pieces. Can't really think of them off the top of my head. Foot pegs, brake levers, all that sort of stuff. They'll get hit with a bit of WD-40 just to keep the water off them, stop any rust, and keep them lubed up for when I want to go riding next. So that's pretty much the final step after the washing and cleaning sort of part of this race prep, and then all the checks and all the little jobs getting ready for the next ride sort of happen the night before or the weekend before the race. So yeah, and don't just leave WD-40 after you've sprayed stuff down. Wipe it off the surface of things, otherwise that's just going to attract dirt and dust. So for example, this switch, after getting washed, for my bike anyway, is the starter switch, and it tends to play up a bit if it gets moisture in there, so I'll hit it with a bit of WD-40 each time. But yeah, just wipe it up, don't leave that mess on the controls. It's going to slip and slide all over everything, so just be smart with it. Alright, so it's a couple of days before an event now. We've got a race on this Sunday at Baker's Beach, and it's been a little while since our wash up. So I'll just sort of go through what I do, a couple of little things here and there after I've washed up and just before we go into ride and to race. I've got a bit of a lingering cold and chesty thing going on, so it's going to be fun for a 4-hour enduro, but never mind. So if I was just going for a general ride, I probably wouldn't do much of this. I sort of trust what I've found and that it's in good shape to go, ready to ride after my wash. But because we're racing and because it's a pretty gnarly enduro, this one coming up, I will be just going over it once more, checking a few things. And a bit of a tip, most associations that you can ride for will have a scrutineering checklist. So if you've got one of them, grab that. It'll sort of go over everything that they are looking for, which will let you into the pits, which will pass the bike into the pits. So grab that, print it off, whatever you want to do. Tick and flick it as you go around the bike yourself. 99% of it is probably going to be safety things and issues or stuff that they'll check on to make sure you're not going to hurt yourself or hurt another competitor, but you still do leave yourself open to having mechanical problems. But yeah, I'll go through and check all them off first, and then I'll look for some bike specific stuff that I know could be a problem for me, or things that I've had just fixed or things that are due to fix, and I'll check all that sort of stuff as well. So first up is controls. So they'll check that your levers are, I don't know what they call it, springing back or whatever, that both actuating correctly and that your throttle is returning properly. Now, because these throttles are a plastic body on a steel handlebar, the internals of that will actually rub away and it gets sort of powdery under there. So I'll do clean that every now and then, just give it a wipe down, bit of WD-40, and just clean up the bar, because you get that little powder and grime that will stop it flicking back and being as responsive as you want. So just I give that a check over probably every, I don't know, couple of months. It doesn't need doing often, but just get in there and give it a wipe every now and then if you feel like that's not returning back. I mean, it's fine at the moment. Or even if you take a bit of a dig and you get dirt and stuff wedged under your throttle body there, it'll get a bit gross, but just make sure you got free play and that it springs back like it is there. Now we'll check foot pegs. Same thing, they just want to, you know, see that everything returns properly, all your springs are working, with your brake pedal that it goes back to its resting position. Foot pegs work, both sides. I don't like, there's nothing that's really going to go wrong with that. You're not going to have an issue. The bolts aren't going to come out or anything, but they just want to make sure that that's all right. So give them a look. Have a quick check of the wheel bearings as well. Not while the bike is up on a stand like this, you probably won't be able to feel much, but just give it a bit of a side to side. And if you see any play or feel any play, you'll sort of click, click, click as it goes back and forth. But I've already done, I did them, looked at them while I was doing our wash, so same thing with the front, just give that a wobble. The rears can be hard because you've got the swing arm bearing at the front there as well, and so if you're getting a bit of play in the back and it's shifting a touch, it can be tricky to know if your rear wheel bearing is gone or if it's the swing arm. It takes a bit of know-how to feel the difference between them, but you won't often have to do the swing arm bearings. I will change them out maybe, well, I won't change them, I'll clean and grease them out once a season. So usually over summer, after the 8 hour, which is in November usually, I'll pull off the swing arm and make sure those bearings are greased. Same thing with the suspension, rear suspension. So all of these ones in here, you got 3 bearings in there, or 4 bearings, sorry, in your, I can't remember what they call them, dog bone or something like that, but it's a rear suspension thing. Same thing, check that over once a year max. If you clean and grease it properly, you won't have to redo them for hopefully a few seasons at least, if you take good care of it. Do a quick check of your steering stem bearings, which go through that tube of the frame, and easy way to do that is just go side to side. If you feel any notchiness or any chunking as you turn it, you'll know they're probably due. Mine are Mickey Mouse because I did it not too long ago. It's a bit of a job, takes a bit of know-how, so if that's something you're interested in, I might put up videos like that with basic maintenance, whether it's the steering stem bearings or bearings on the swing arms, rear wheels. I've done plenty of rear wheels in my time, but yeah, if that's something you guys are interested in, I can throw up a few videos here and there, but we'll see. Tension it the way you feel like with this main nut here. I like it so that when the bars are sort of just starting to fall, they'll fall the last part on their own. Some people like it so they're loose and just gravity will take the bars. I don't like that. I feel like you get a bit twitchy at speed, so I like to be able to tap and then the last part will fall by itself. Moto guys will have that cranked up so that you really have to force the bars to turn, but there's a bit of a happy medium. Go between it or do whatever you like, I don't care. Scrutineers will also check your spokes front and rear. It's not very thorough, they'll just grab a screwdriver and just flick them around and check the pitch of them to make sure that they're all somewhat tight. I'll show you in a sec how I do the wheels and make sure the spokes are tight. I do not build wheels or string them up so that they're true and straight and perfect on the gauge and the dial like some people do, but I'll just make sure that the pitch of each of them is the same or close enough to being the same, so you don't have that pitch is close enough. If they're real high and then the next one's real low, you know that the low pitch is either loosening up or that the high one is way too tight. So just check them, and the average sort of sound of the wheel as you tap around it will sort of tell you where they should be. Get yourself one of these as well. Just a little spoke nipple wrench. They come with a bunch of different heads on them for various size spoke nipples, and you just chuck it on there and give them a tighten up. But yeah, we've had spokes that have been either missing or broken before and they haven't been picked up, so not usually too accurate or too thorough on them, the scrutineering team, but do it for your own peace of mind, I say. Just a quick example of what I do with the spokes is just checking for pitch. They all sound good. If you've got a real loose one, it's gonna be, let me just make a bad one. Hear how that's dull? It's just, there's no pitch to it. So just give them a nip up and you'll hear the pitch come up. So it's nearly there, and then just match them up. Go around the whole wheel, front and back, checking them like that. They shouldn't come loose too often. These were brand new wheels, which means they do loosen up every now and then. For the first few rides they were brand new, but since then they've sort of stayed true and you don't have to worry about them much at all. But yeah, that's sort of the way I check them. I don't true them up and get a dial indicator on there and make sure that the rim is absolutely perfectly straight as it goes round, but I'll just make sure that each spoke is the same pitch and sort of tension as the rest of them, and I know that they're going to be fine and straight because that's how they sounded from factory. So yeah, bit more of an idea now. Hopefully it's not something that's hard to do. Just grab yourself a little spoke wrench and get after it. Oh, before I forget, Don't go rear wheel pitch to front wheel pitch. The spokes are different lengths, so don't set your front wheel pitch the same as your rear wheel. Don't take it that way, that's not what I meant. Just set them to what each wheel is so that they're a consistent sound around the rim. Otherwise you'll either have your rear way too loose or your front way too tight and you'll snap things, so don't do that. Quick check of the air filter as well. Like I said, I like to keep them fresh for a race, so I will be doing this one here. This is still the same after I washed it from the last ride. It's a little grimy. I would leave this actually for a general ride. I mean, you can see if you pull back, it's still a clean filter. It's just got a little bit of surface dirt. That's not gonna penetrate into the actual filter itself or into your motor, so I would absolutely leave that. Well, conditions depending. Just be smart about it. If you're gonna ride somewhere that's real dry, real dusty, you might, you put a fresh one in every time, just so you don't get that fine dirt and dust and sand or whatever through. But we're in the middle of winter here in Tas, so I'm not going to change that for a standard ride. I will change it for a race, just because there's a bit more demand on the motor. You're revving a lot harder, you're riding a lot harder, and I just want it to be clean and healthy. So I'll do that, and yeah. And I mean, that's another thing. I could possibly show you guys how, I clean a filter, but there's plenty of that sort of thing, tutorial videos online already. My one point, if I'm going to say anything, is just make sure that you dry the filter, air dry it completely before you apply oil. I've seen a lot of clowns out there that don't know what they're doing, and they'll wash it with solvent, wash it with petrol, whatever they want to do, and then oil it straight away, which is ridiculous because you've still got the actual solvent in the filter foam itself, which is going to start breaking down your oil straight away. So if you're going to do anything, dry your freaking filter. Dry it, dry it, dry it. I've got two, so I'll keep a couple. I've got a pail of filter oil in there, and I keep two, so that whenever I want to have a fresh filter, just bang it in. Don't have to wait for anything to dry in the sun or get out there with a hairdryer or something stupid like that. So grab a couple, get them ready to go, and just rotate through them. Easy. So I'm going to do a few things now, checking over bike specific stuff that I know I need to look at each time. One particular one is down here on the gear shifter. So this spline has got a bolt that sort of clamps it together, but this, I don't know why, it always seems to come loose. I've put a little dab of paint mark on it, and it's nowhere near it every time. So that's something I check on my bike each time. Same thing with the brake, rear brake as well. This is like a quick adjust thing that you spin to get the right amount of play and height with the brake lever there, but that slowly turns after every couple of rides. So I'll nip that up and make sure she's good to go. Oh, while I'm here too, check out the new pegs. They're pretty vicious. I'm keen to see how they go in this ride. I'm not sure if I like that they don't have that middle bar there. I guess they're like a mud sort of style one, but geez, they're pretty nuts on the grip there. Hopefully they're alright, we'll see. I may or may not go around the bike again with a can of lube and just touch up all the sort of control points and pivot points. I did, like you saw, I did that after I washed it, but sometimes I'll touch them up again if it's been long enough. But it's only been a week since I washed it and did all that, so it should be good to go. The only thing I touched is the chain, which you can see still nice and clean. It's even got a little bit of grease on it, well, not grease, a bit of lube still there, bit of WD-40 from after we washed it. So I'll just give that one rotation with a quick spray, and that'll be ready to ride essentially. A really important one for me personally, just because I'm running a system called tubeless on the wheels, is tyre pressures, and you'll be absolutely blown away by how much difference a couple of PSI will make. It can be the difference between getting up a hill and not. So I've got 2 valves that I need to check. This one's just the low pressure, so I'll put that up to probably 10 for the weekend, considering it's going to be soft and muddy. And then the inner tube is just a hard 100 to 110 psi, which acts as like a bead lock around the entire rim. It just seals the I'm not going to get into it. If you want to know about tubeless, look up tubeless. But yeah, check your tyre pressures. I'll do them on the morning of, after I've unloaded and before we ride. I'll just go over them with a pressure gauge and pump them up. I think I'm running out of stuff to tell you about. There's not really a lot to it. Yeah, it's sort of a lot of it's common sense. Look over your own bike, get to know it, get friendly with it, work out what is specific to your bike, issues that you need to keep a tab on. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this sort of style, more of a vloggy sort of thing, I've got a few ideas for showing some general maintenance and stuff like testing things and suspension tuning and, you know, random things like that I could do more of a vlog of instead of just the chin mount POV camera stuff. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. If not, don't really care. I'll make it anyway and put it out there, and 1 or 2 of you might find something beneficial, interesting from this. So yeah, I'll catch you later.